Welcome to Unit 5, where we're going to talk about healthcare. And Lesson 1 is all about what we do when we have to call in sick for work. Now, we all have days when we don't feel well enough to come to work. A cold, a fever, dizziness. There are dozens of ailments that can lay us low and force us to stay home or in bed even. We also sometimes have days when we just don't, or we need a day off and we decide to take a sick day. You just can't bring yourself to go into the office, but you're not sure why. Whether or not you're actually sick, the process of calling in sick to work is the same. You want to let your boss know as soon as possible and keep the explanation of your illness, or fake illness, very brief. Let me give you some tips on calling in sick for work. Firstly, choose the right method for contacting your boss. While people use the phrase call in sick, you might not actually need to call your boss on the phone. Instead, you might send an email, a letter, a text, or even in today's text to use a line message or messenger. Make sure, though, you know what your boss's preferred method of contact is. Check out some sample sickness absence excuse letters and emails to help you write your own is a good idea. Now, remember to call in as soon as possible. Let your boss know about your illness as soon as you can. If you're feeling very ill the night before and you know you won't make it into work, you can send your boss a message that evening. Otherwise, tell your boss first thing in the morning. Remember, keep it brief. Don't go into great details about your illness. No one wants to hear the details of your flu or stomach virus. Keep your message short and to the point. Maybe you might have to think about letting your team know. Consider sending another message to your department or team, letting them know you're going to be absent. This is especially important if you're working on a team project or you have a deadline coming up soon. Make sure they know that you will not be available on that day. You should explain your availability. Let your employer and maybe your team know if you will be able to respond to email or do any other work while you're sick at home. If you're too sick to check your email, be sure to say so. Remember to mention any important information. Similarly, let your boss and your team know if there's any information they will need to know that day. For example, you might tell your boss, "I'm sorry, I'm missing the staff-wide meeting at 2 p.m., but Ellen should have all the data from our department." This kind of information will keep others from struggling in your absence. Remember to follow up. Make sure you know whether your company requires you to complete any sort of follow-up documentation. For example, some companies require employees to bring in a doctor's note. Now, the tips are slightly different for calling in sick when you just need a day off. What if you don't feel sick, but you simply need a day off to relax and recharge? Modern day speak today, this calls like a mental day's leave, a mental side of you that just needs to recharge your batteries. Your best option is to take a personal day. However, not all employers offer these. For example, many jobs in retail and other hourly jobs do not offer personal days. In this option, your best option really is to just call in sick. In such a case, you might want to follow all the same steps as being genuinely sick. However, there's a few more things you will want to keep in mind. Think about the timing. It's easier to convince your boss that you're really sick when you pick up a random work day. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday will usually suffice. But if you pick a Monday or a Friday or a day just before or just after a holiday, your boss will undoubtedly be suspicious that you're simply trying to extend their weekend. If you don't care which day you take off, you might try a day between Tuesday and Thursday. It's much more convincing. Do try to avoid the phone call. Unless you're confident you can lie to your boss over the phone, you might want to avoid a direct conversation with him or her. Instead, send an email or text, whichever is preferable to your boss. If your boss would prefer a phone call, try calling early in the morning. Calling in the morning will increase your chances of being able to leave a voicemail instead of speaking directly to your boss. Either way, remember to keep it very brief. You always want to keep a call about your absence short, but in this case, keep it very short. The more you talk, the more you'll be lying, and the better your chances of getting caught. Simply say that you're calling in sick. If your boss asks more questions, then you can answer them, but keep your answers again short. There are some excuses that work better than others when you need a day off from work. Trust me, I've done it several times myself. Don't tell anyone that you've lied. Don't tell any of your co-workers that you're not really sick, even if they're your friends. You run the risk that one of them might mention it to your boss, even inadvertently or on purpose. Don't tell anyone. Remember to be careful with your social media. A lot of employees have gotten caught faking an illness due to what they post on Facebook on their day off. They say they are sick and then post a picture of their day at the beach, and then the boss sees it. Avoid posting anything about your fun day on social media. And if you go out with friends, make sure they don't take a video of you doing the tango on the beach on your sick day. This will prevent any information from getting back to your boss. Remember to work hard afterwards. After taking a day off from work, you'll always want to work hard to catch up on any of your projects. This is especially the case if you took secret personal day. Show your boss that you are still a committed team member who can work very hard and get the job done. Okay, to wrap up, finally, a word of warning. Sometimes people even regard the provision in their contract of a number of annual sick days as an automatic right to days off, and they regard them as almost an extra holiday entitlement. If you go down this road and make this your habit, beware. Taking sick leave is always marked in your records. It will go against you in any employee review for a bonus, a promotion, or a new job. Take care.